Okay, so we're continuing on this question, what kind of arguer do you want to become? And one thing I proposed was someone who follows the principle of charity. Okay. Now, to further investigate this question and go deeper, like beyond just someone who follows the principle of charity, is I think it's worth investigating the different types of arguers. And that was the topic of the short, like 2-page reading I gave you guys. It's on Canvas. It's by Richard Feldman. And so we're going to examine these arguers and try to see some of their pros and cons. And so let's do that right now. So the first type of arguer is called the credulous person. Okay? And the credulous person believes everything. Okay? The word cred has connections to the word, like its root connects to the word believe. So when you say somebody is credible, or you give them a lot of credence, right? And you're talking about they're like worthy of belief, like they're worth believing. That's a credible person. Or if you say something's incredible, like that's incredible, you're saying I can't believe it. Okay, that's what cred means. Okay, so the credulous person believes everything. Um, so you say it, they believe it. They see it on the internet, on a random YouTube video, they believe it. Somebody says uh, vaccines are really ways for Bill Gates to spy on us. They believe it. The credulous person. Okay, so I'm kind of obviously pointing out some of the cons here, but in the Zoom session, we'll talk about pros and cons of being the credulous person. Okay, next, the person of contradiction. I don't know, might as well underline this too. The person of contradiction, uh, the person of contradiction disagrees with everything. I don't know if you've ever had this in your life where you're talking to someone and even when you're trying to agree, they find something to disagree about with what you're saying. Okay, that's the person of contradiction. A real life example of this might be I use a lot of political examples. So in politics, sometimes it feels like this could go both ways, but like whatever the Democrats are going to stand for, it's just going to be the opposite of whatever the Republicans said. Okay, so if a Republican says it, oh, okay, it must be false because a Republican said it. Um, I think you did see this with President Trump or Donald Trump. Um, like if he proposed it, oh, as a Democrat, now it's my duty to think that what he said was false. Okay, that's the person of contradiction. And of course, we could see this going the other way. Um, and I don't know. Think about it. Do you know a person in your life who might be a person of contradiction or even a credulous person? So think about that. Think about what sort of person that is. Um, and yeah, good. All right, let's go to the next one. The dogmatist. Okay, a dogmatist doesn't change views. Okay, the dogmatist doesn't change views. Now, sometimes when we think about, oh, that person's a dogmatist or dogmatic, we're normally thinking like they're like loud or obnoxious, but that's not actually what the dogmatist means. It just means they could be quiet, they could be loud, but the point is they're not changing their minds. That's what it is to be dogmatic. They're not changing. Um, I find that as I get older and like people who are older, it is harder for them to change their views. It's kind of like that saying, "It's hard to teach an old dog new tricks." I think of that for myself, probably because we've been around longer and we found that our views work. As I get into my upper 30s. For a lot of y'all, like in college, you're probably still like figuring out what your views are. So that's the fun thing about college. You can take classes and talk with other people and like figure out what you think. Okay, so I think for younger people, less of a problem. That's my feel. But as you get older, your views start to solidify and it's harder to change. Notice how a dogmatist is different from a person of contradiction. Um, person of contradiction will change if it disagrees with you, right? Whereas a dogmatist, if it agrees with you, they're like, okay, yeah, I agree. If they disagree, then they're still not going to change, right? So that's more the dogmatist. So the dogmatist can agree with you. That's what makes it different from the person of contradiction. Okay, that's probably good for this video, and then we'll go cover some of the others in the next one.